So I'd like to show you how to use our motorbike and rider cutter. And for this I'm going to use white flour paste, so just take a small piece and work it, make it nice and pliable, and then rub a little shortening, that's vegetable shortening, onto your non-stick board. Now when I roll out, I'm rolling, but I'm not going to lift the paste up and down. I want a good contact with the board, and you roll it very thin and keep rolling. And then I'm going to take the cutter and rub some shortening onto the cutter, especially over small areas that I'm going to take small pieces out of the front wheel and the back of the bike. Not too much, but you do want to have a good coating on there. And then place the cutter onto the paste and press firmly around the outside edge to make sure you get a nice cut, and then firmly over the inner lines, and that will give you a good guide where you're going to paint. So give a little flick to remove that, and then you peel the paste away from the outside, like so. Now the spare paste you put back in the bag, because it does dry out very quickly, so always keep that covered. I'm going to use a cocktail stick just to remove any small pieces that aren't required. And 4 little pieces here. Now if you do get any feathering, sometimes that's down to your board. If you rub your finger along your board, you may feel small grooves, and that creates a fuzziness around the cut edge. If that happens, then take a clean paintbrush and put a little bit of vegetable shortening onto it, and then you can just rub that around the outside edge, the cut edge, and that will take away any of the fine feathering. Anything larger, and you may need your small palette knife just to tidy things up. Just go inside there, around the top. And I have got a small palette knife, I'll just go down the larger sections here. Just around there. Okay. And maybe these small sections here, finish off with your cocktail stick. Just take that inside the cut line just to tidy them up. Now I'm going to lift that and place it onto a sponge pad. The easiest way to lift it is use a thin piece of card and just slide that underneath. And then I'm going to pop that onto a sponge pad, turn it over so you have the grease side uppermost. Make sure everything's lying flat, and then leave that overnight to dry before you paint it. Once the figure's dried, I've put it onto a piece of laminated paper, and this is because I'm going to paint all the way around the cut edge as well. So if it goes down onto the paper, that's perfectly okay. At the end I can wipe it all clean and reuse it. I've also got a selection of click twist brushes, so these are really handy. You can buy little pots of this colour, but if you don't need too much, I'll just put some on here. You can just twist a little of the colour out and then use a finer brush for painting in your details. And I'm going to start off, I'll just put those to one side. I'm going to start off with the black wheels, and I'm going to go around, make sure that you get the cut edge painted, and then you can bring the colour up and over the top. So I'm going to turn this now. It just makes it easier for painting if you keep turning it. make sure that you have all the cut edge covered right down onto the dusting sheet, and hold the brush upright. And this colour does dry, and you can just get into the grooves. If you need to use any do any fine work, then just use a finer brush, obviously. And take the colour again down over the cut edge. Don't just paint the top surface. You just hold on to it while you're painting. So I'm going to mix some of the black colour with white, and just a touch of black to it, and that will depend, how much black will depend how dark a silver you have. And then I'm going to paint hold your brush upright. Now I'm going to use red and gold. So just twist a little of the red away. And some gold. Turn the piece round so that you can paint right down the cut edge again. Make sure that you get the paint down into the cut line or into the embossed line. Take a little more. And you can use a finer brush just to get into those small areas. This is quite pale, so I'm going to add some more of the gold colour. And if you find it's a little bit too pale, you can add 2 or 3 coats. And then going back to the black, just going to start off with longish strokes and then just decrease the size so that you're making a pattern across the helmet there. And if you find when you're turning the piece round, you may have missed a little bit in the embossed line, then you can go back over with your fine brush and outline, and also put a little bit on there, and also with a fine brush you can outline the colours just to give a little bit of definition. And even if he's wearing white gloves, you can take that colour down into the embossed line. A little red on here. So you're just building up all the colours how you want it to appear. Just going to put a little bit of yellow flash on the boot. Just do a little bit of a wiggle, and then you can again outline it with the black. I might put a little bit of red on there as well, so it looks a little bit like a fire or a flame. Just to give a bit of a pattern on the boot, and then take the brush round the outside just to outline that boot. And can continue like that over the whole piece. This is only a suggestion of the colours you could use. If you have a particular family member that's into bike riding or has a particular motorbike, then obviously you would use the colours to suit that person. So just alter the colours for the bike and the rider to the colours of your choice.